All right. Shout out to everybody in attendance. We're going to turn it up in here a little bit. So a couple of things before we get started. I definitely do these talks and like to answer questions. So if there are questions while I'm talking, please let me know. One of the things that I was approached with when it comes to conferences and these things all the time is how do we access the financial advisor market? When I got introduced to crypto, it was around 2014, and I was a financial advisor at Merrill Lynch. Now, almost 10 years later, there is still a barrier to entry for financial advisors. So when Messari reached out, and one of the employees at Messari is actually a former client of mine, reached out and said that there were sponsors that wanted to tap the FA and the RAA market, I was very specific about what needed to happen. Again, as you will see in the next session, two of my friends and colleagues that'll be up here with me, we all share the same frustrations that 10 years in and almost 15 years for the space, advisors are continuing to be ignored, our core needs. So the purpose of this mini TED Talk is to walk into exactly what financial advisors need to embrace the space fully and wholly. Two things are very critical here so you understand who's giving this talk. I run my own RAA, and I'm building a crypto data company. Prior to this company, I built a company called OnRamp that some of you may be familiar with that was supposed to be a gateway to bring financial advisors and OnRamp into the crypto space. If you could believe it, as I stand here right now, there is not a platform in the United States of America that can generate a statement on behalf of clients for financial advisors. Not one. No, not Coinbase either. So when I had this conversation about giving this talk, I think there's a couple of reasons why folks want to tap the FA market. And there are three segments to that market that are critical that I want to get into. First is this, registered investment advisors. And again, don't take my word for it, ChatGPT as I speak. The registered investment advisor market is 15,000 SEC registered advisors, which means that they manage 110 million of assets or more. There are another 17,000 that are state registered like myself. By the way, if you are state registered, you are not under the thumb of Gary Gensler. I'll get back to that. 15,000 SEC registered, another 17,000 that are state registered. 128 trillion of assets. That's not 128 with a T, trillion. 64 million clients. That is just the registered investment advisor space. I was having a conversation with a colleague prior to this. There are still basic needs for financial advisors that have not been met. There are also advisors that are registered reps. These are advisors that work at a broker-dealer. There's something called hybrid RIAs, which are half RIA, half broker-dealer. There are 628,000 of these individuals. Then you have your wirehouse babies like myself, where I started at Merrill Lynch in their training program. And it's a 3-year program, they probably since changed it, where you basically are thrown to the wolves and you have to grow a book of business. There are 40,000 of them. Massive market, brutally underserved. So what is the point of the talk? Integration is the innovation. If I was to run up a whole list of advisors up here and say, what is your main pain point outside of crypto? They would tell you that our space sorely lacks our tools talking to one another. There are 3 things that matter to a financial advisor: their CRM, their portfolio management software, and their financial planning software. Think of the CRM as the eyes. CRM basically tells you what your clients do, who they are, where they live, how many kids, so on and so forth. Just a record keeper, right? Your portfolio management software is the heart. It pumps all of the data into the rest of your software. And then you have financial planning software. Why is that important? 93% of all RIAs do planning, assets under management. So you have to have a tool in which to plan for your clients. Why is this important? Also, in the portfolio management software, any advisor will tell you that data is reconciled from that platform. What does that mean? I can either get custodial data from the custodian, or I can get the reconciled data from my portfolio management software provider that I use. So you're beholden on that software to be able to do anything for your clients: open accounts, rebalance, build portfolios. Myself and other financial advisors does not have the ability to do that right now as we speak. For all the money invested, for all the RAAs that Coinbase acquired, for all the money invested in Gemini, Anchorage, and so on and so forth, there is no advisor right now that can log into their software, open an account, have that account listed at the custodian, and a separately managed account with the beneficiary, log into that account, buy assets, trade those assets, rebalance those assets without going anywhere else. In 2016, when I left Merrill Lynch and got into the space, I actually had clients at CoinDesk, at Ledger, all over the place. And I would literally have to have 4 or 5 screens open to help them with their crypto. 2016. On the way here, I was having a planning conversation with the client. You want to know what I was doing? Multiple screens open. Client has stuff at Casa. Client has stuff at Coinbase. Client has a hardware wallet. So the advisor, again, look at the numbers that I was saying. A $128 trillion space. It is the biggest space that crypto could be attached to, are blind. 94% of all crypto wealth is held outside of the purview of financial advisors. And I'm going to say this, and I've been saying it for a long time. If you want to see the lift in this space that everyone wants to see, you better unlock it from those individuals that I just mentioned. Retail is smoked. And you know who retail works with? Us. And there are a lot of our clients that needed our help, that have been locked out of accounts, that have had to show us janky information, clients that have serious tax liabilities, estate planning, tax planning, you name it. By the way, if there's any builders in here, the biggest opportunity there is in this space is estate planning. You'll hear more on that later, right? So 10 million accounts at Coinbase? How many people that have a Coinbase account has listed a beneficiary on that actual account? Not a one. So the integration is the innovation is this. There's 2 ways. The first way is why I'm building a crypto data company is we have to get data from that side of the fence into the portfolio management software and planning tools that advisors use. There's no data there. So it's very important to understand that an ETF does not solve this. If anything, it makes it an even bigger issue, because if I want to buy that ETF and sit it along the whole satellite of assets that the clients own, I have to be able to rebalance that. I have to be able to log into my software and properly indicate that this is a crypto asset. Very hard to do. It's still manual to this day for a $128 trillion space. $128 trillion space of money locked up. So the main thing is this. So long as there are integrations, that is it. APIs, a data feed from one side of the fence to the other into the traditional tools that advisors use. I need data on where my clients has those assets. I need to know what they hold. I need to know all of the trades. And I need to have realized, unrealized cost basis, so on and so forth. That's critical. That's just right now in our current stack. Because I say this all the time, and I will continue to say it, because I talk to Y Combinator founders that's building for wealth managers. Everyone's building for wealth managers. A financial advisor does not want to pay $2 million for a condo and go across the street to use the bathroom. It needs to be in our workflows. If you are not in our workflows, you're dead. I don't care how good it is, we're not going to adopt it. The biggest advisors in the country probably spend upwards of 10% of their revenues on technology. 71% of the space on Cerulli, which is like the Bible of our space, 71% of advisors say the technology stinks. It's no good. Integration is the innovation. Just an innovation. We don't need to talk layer twos or swapping or anything, just an API feed. So that's the first thing. Now on the crypto side, real life example. Two things. We can see for our clients, and I would say outside of my friend and colleague that you'll hear from in a minute, there are very few firms that are more crypto forward than my own. Again, I'm at this 12 years. I only know crypto as an advisor. Right now, we have two major pain points. We can see the historical balance of a client's wallet. Just the total balance. We need that for every individual position at the client level. Advisors will also use the term household versus a household view versus a client view. That's very important because, by the way, if I'm at a firm with 3 other people, I may have my own book of business. They may have their own book of business. They may build crypto portfolios one way. I may build them another. So there's no such thing as a pooled asset at Uniswap. Doesn't work that way. We need them fully segregated. Because if I rebalance, I can't rebalance my colleagues' clients as well. I have to rebalance mine. That's an integration. On the crypto side, again, historical balance of a client's wallet. But we need all of that at the client level, all transaction data inside of that wallet, all swaps, all dollar cost averaging, all of that. We need to see it all. That's the first thing. The second thing that we have a pain point with is now when we actually go into the wallet. This is a big distinction. Right now, on the crypto side of things, and a wallet is equivalent to an account. That doesn't help for builders like myself that's trying to get the space to move to a wallet. I will use Fireblocks as an example, right? In a wallet at Fireblocks, you can hold multiple assets. The entire wealth management space needs to move that way, but there's a fight between wallets and account. Perfect example, Coinbase account, wallet, positions. Advisors need that on our side, so we need both sides to play ball. The crypto custodians need to make it easy to pipe that data back into the systems that we use. I'm not talking out of turn here. I've been working with them to do it for the last 4 years. And then once that is in our workflows, once it's there and we can see the positions that a client holds, where, how much, we have a client that traded 14,000 times. 14,000 times. Because he told us, not because we saw it. He had to tell us he had an account at Casa. He had to tell us about his Coinbase account. An advisor will call and say, hey, I just found out my client had a $12.5 million account at Coinbase. What advisors need to do is be able to see it for one reason and one reason only. We provide advice. We provide advice. When I started working with clients who own millions of crypto years ago, 2015, 2016, they were young, they had millions of dollars of crypto and they needed help, and there was no one to help them. You could not see it. So what we need to do is see it, and then you don't get to $128 trillion of value without being able to bill on something. You have to be able to bill it. You have to be able to bill it. You have to be able to provide a statement. And for those of us that do planning, you have to be able to have the ability to plan around it. So again, with my last 46 seconds, I will say this. The reason integration is the innovation, and it sounds poor, it sounds janky, it sounds simple, because it is. Great API feeds from the crypto ecosystem into the traditional wealth management system will unlock all of those lies you see on X every day about the RIAs are coming. It ain't the ETF. Sorry, it's data. It's data. Without the data, the ETFs don't matter. Because at the end of the day, whatever clients tell their advisor that they want or the advisor want to allocate to, my mentor told me this a long time ago, there's twice that away, and it's even more than that in crypto. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.